All right, great day, powerful women. I am Coach Lou with Flow with Coach Lou, and I am here today with the incomparable Sheila Little, who has so graciously agreed to do a testimonial for us pertaining to her recent experience in the program Flow. Own your power and create the life that you desire and you deserve. Hey, Sheila, how are you?
Hey, hello, Coach Lou. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
so glad to have you here. So very glad to have you here.
Yeah,
So tell us, go ahead, go ahead. My apologies.
I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you're from.
So I am from Michigan,
Mhm.
this little town called Saginaw, Michigan, where great people were born. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm a success coach, and I have like 17 years as a therapist. I'm a PhD candidate in business psychology.
Mhm.
And I help people to really attain their goals, right? Through this synergy process of, using my background as a therapist and as a success coach.
Mhm.
And I created a stopping out framework to help them get there. So, yeah.
Love that. Love that. Thank you. Thank you for your service, your contribution. Really appreciate you. Tell us
Mhm.
a little bit about your research. Maybe we have some people who might want to
All
participate.
right. So my research is on emotional intelligence, which is really the underbelly of the work that I do, right? So I teach people emotional intelligence, and in my research, I am actually researching the relationship between procrastination and emotional intelligence in African American entrepreneur women.
Mhm.
Really seeing if if this is an emotional thing. A lot of the research supports that it's an emotional thing, and using our research study to really move the needle further and really talking about, hey, we need to learn this skill called emotional intelligence so that we can, align our lives a little better and move this needle for us financially and you know and in our success and our goals. you
Absolutely. Yes, and I've had the pleasure of participating in your research, and I love what you're doing. The questions made me really think and reflect, and so
thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what was happening in your life before you decided to work with me and be a part of the flow experience. What was going on?
Right, because it's like, wait, you a success coach and a therapist and you hired this woman to come into your life and teach you something? Well, hypocrite, right? Like, no, I said that because I think that a lot of times, Coach Lou, when we are doing the thing that we were gifted to do, we think, well, I know this,
Yeah.
so I should be able to apply it to myself. And that's just not true, right? Like the mind that is observing the outside world, right? Um, Especially in our professional world, sometimes can be very compartmentalized, or even we're not aware of that lens in how we're trying to fix ourselves in a sense. And so, my level of awareness on just me has definitely had definitely prevented me from doing a lot of things. So you're not like my first coach. I've always invested in coaches. I encourage people to invest in coaches, but specifically you in this season of my life, I met you. We were in the same cohort with a business,
Mhm.
working on our business. And at that time, my sister had passed away when I signed up. And then my grandma passed away. And then, I was having some like relationship things. And I had made this decision that, like the four agreements that I was going to be impeccable with my word. That was
Yeah.
my 2024, saying. So I hired the coach that, you and I worked under, and I was like, I'm going to launch this business and, and do all of that. And so I was, launching my workshop. My sister passed, I was launching my workshops, and like, I was just getting dinged like in this back end. And it was like, no, Sheila, you don't be impeccable with your words. So keep pushing.
Yeah.
And so then I got introduced to your flow method and this whole idea about who are you, and not the masculine part of us, but this feminine place where we're just being like, who are you as a being?
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of my life I have been very masculine driven in a sense, or
Mhm.
where it's like, what do I need to do? Even when my sister passed, like it was like, what do I need to do? What I need to do for my family? What do I need to do for my, you know, for my life? My son graduate. What do I need to do? Right. And so all of these questions, even feeling stuck in um, with our process under that business, and I kept asking these same questions, like, what do I need to do?
Mhm.
And I'm following you and I'm listening to your videos, and it was like, well, no, who do you need to be
Mhm.
to do that? And I understood that question in intelligently, right?
Sure,
Um,
intellectually, we get it. Yeah.
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 But
Mhm.
the process of switching my mind to that, I
Mhm.
felt like I needed to invest in a space and a person that was going to hold enough space for me to
Mhm.
process what that looked like and what that felt like, making that shift
Yeah,
from the doer self to the be yourself and all the emotions that walk through that
for sure.
process. And so I kind of stepped back and I was like, okay, I reached out to you. We did an assessment. Oh, well, no, I went through your, what was that thing you had, like a challenge or something?
Yes, it was the Unleash the Divine Within. Yes,
Yeah,
that was the
I
master
went through
class.
that. And you asked the question like 10 years from now, like,
Mm-hmm.
who you going to be or something like that. And, and I say, I think 10 years from now, if I look back at this person, I would say that even though I'm doing all these amazing things, I think that I could do it with a little more ease. And
Mm-hmm.
and so then I just hired you because I definitely wanted to be able to produce at the level I'm producing and more, but just
Yeah,
with more ease, right? And not the stress that's pulling me, or knowing how to manage that in the being present process of me and not the doing strategizing part of me that I had been accustomed to, being.
absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. So, a strong desire to balance these energies that we all have within us, especially as successful women. Like, we got the thinking and the doing down. Like, that is much of what has caused us to accumulate so much success and progress in our lives, right? But with that coming a lot of struggling and sacrificing, and not enough resting and receiving and recharging. And so, in order to manifest and create with ease, we want to balance those energies. So that was a strong desire that you had. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then something else is coming up in my spirit too, to
Yeah.
say. And I think the melanated part, right? So I have worked, did energy work. I have gotten a lot of energy stuff, but it definitely has been from a different population of
Mm-hmm.
individuals.
Sure.
And so a lot of that practice of like the energy work and the chakras, or this flow and this being present with this divine energy, it was
Mm-hmm.
very foreign. It was a very foreign concept to speak about that with another melanated woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was not, and I'm not saying this in any way to erode the fabric of this, what is being talked about now, but
Mm-hmm.
in a very, I guess I would say, strategic and evidence based approach, and not so much. And I'm saying I needed that because those type of mechanisms for me growing up in my home was more, looked against, and like, is that witchcraft or whatever those terms was, that that was very challenging for me to
For sure.
even um, step into this divine feminine, right? And what does that mean with my current belief system, right? And, I think I had enough permission to do that with a different culture because there was a physical, it was kind of like I was a watcher, right? Yeah, okay, we're doing this energy work. What does that look like? But there was a sense of, I don't know, harmony, being able to discuss those things in the union with another melanated woman that was very educated and understood that process,
Mm-hmm.
and did it for herself, and also, worked with it with me. And so that was very empowering because, like I said, I knew about the chakras. I know about the, energy fields and auras and all of that stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't been taught that from, just a different population.
For sure.
And so this was kind of my first experience really talking about it, one, with myself, with a being that actually looked like me. And so being able to have a space where that conversation can happen and we come from the same background, I think was very empowering for me.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the importance of that integration from an evidence-based and indigenous perspective, being able to merge those two worlds, especially for thinkers like ourselves that like to know the rational, intellectual side, while also being able to bring in the more spiritual, intuitive side. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely.
yes. Yeah. So, how would you say, and you shared some of this already, how would you say that this experience differs from other personal development experiences you've had in the past?
Yeah, right. So, like I said, I've hired coaches. I've been on a coaching journey for a while now. Um, and this was very different. And the ability to be authentic and transparent, I think that the strength of you, one, being a therapist, lend to a lot of therapeutic understanding, listening, kind of holding a container for that. But matching that with the flow method in walking in that space of whatever those emotions are.
Mhm,
I know one profound thing for me was I always had this thing of saying but this
mhm,
and but that and but this and just having this permission, like, what about and you can do that. And so it was very empowering to have a space, and I guess like this permission to really just talk and discuss where I was at and how I was feeling, and
yeah.
it being firm, no matter um, no matter what it was like, okay, yeah, let's look at that from a very empowering way. And I
Mhm,
think that changed even the dynamic of me being able to receive it, right? Because there was really no wrong in our exchange. It was just the awareness of what is, right? And then how do we accept that? And now how do we change that process? And I think that one was huge for me because typically, when I'm working with coaches, there is this right or wrong, well, or this sense of, I don't even want to say judgment, but what's the
mhm.
right way to do it?
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
uh, and this was not that experience at all. It was definitely, the scripture says, come as you are.
Come as you are.
Definitely a come as you are experience for me. And then now let's see what you want to move, how you want to move. And so that's huge. I think the curriculum definitely was edifying in how it laid out and teached you about this divine being, and I think that you definitely met every sense, right? So you had the videos, you had the reading part, you had the, answering the questions. So you thought about the person in a very holistic way. Like if you were a listener, if you were a reader, if you were this, yeah, that was great because typically modules are just, hey, this is your download, here you go.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so I think it was a very holistic and edifying experience for me, and I would say that I think it would be an edifying experience for anybody who is looking to, and I say like level up, right? Because I just believe that our emotions is a big part of our relationships. I heard this man say, you got your spiritual person, that's your relationship with you and God, your
Mhm,
physical person, relationship with you and your body, and your emotional person, your relationship with you and the people around you.
mhm,
And a
mhm.
part of this being present, right, is
Yeah.
definitely this emotional body, right? And what does that look like in the context of relationship with myself and
That's
relationship with other people?
mhm,
And if we don't find the awareness of one where we're at and what
mhm,
that looks like for us, how can we connect with people, our businesses, our finances in a way where we
mhm.
are truly present and aligned,
Yeah.
with who we are? And so that balance of just being present and not just doing everything, I think it's definitely um, different, a different way into the room.
Absolutely. You said so much, and what I want to really hone in on is the importance of acceptance as it relates to a holistic approach to being more of who we are, who we desire to be, and who we're meant to be. Because there does tend to be, just because of the way the mind works, this polarity, this dichotomy, this right, wrong, this, that. But it's so important to bring all of us into the space, all of us into the room, because in doing so, we provide the ability to transcend any issue we're encountering, any challenge we're encountering, but really transcend the levels of consciousness and awareness that allow us to manifest and create in a way that is more easeful and more in the state of flow without the resistance, which that can come from that this, that, right or wrong type of thinking and approach. Yeah.
And as you were talking, can I share what came up in my spirit?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you know, I want to just say thank you because you definitely have this gift of I don't know if it's a mother's wit, but I think that when we come from me, like me, right? I came from a very impoverished background, a lot of dis-ease, a lot of physical, emotional, and other type of abuses, and so there was this probably this field of protection around me in doing that very much served who I was, and definitely provided me with the level of success that I had been able to attain in my education and in my finances, and I could say in my relationships. I think that the thing that I was looking for was this level of vulnerability. So no matter how much success I got, there was this lack of fulfillment, right, in that success because it would feel like this lack of connection or understanding, right? But how can I get somebody to understand what I'm not able to understand? And so that's kind of like the Cinderella story, right? I'm looking for somebody to come save me in a sense, right? And save me from this thing. But we know that there's the universal law that, as within, so without, right? So there's a sense where you have to know that and feel that and experience that so that now you're sending like these kind of messages out to the world that this is the match. Now, how does the flow help with that? Because I think that you see the whole person, right? So you see that fear, you see the doer, and then you hold a space for, or this flow method, and I just say you, hold a space for that whole individual to be now seen. Never cried in our sessions, but that, right, is powerful,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because that's the space that you're not even aware exists,
For
you know?
sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, and it's the mother thing, right? Like that's what your mother is supposed to provide you. That is the space. Like I see you at 100% all the time,
Yeah.
and that's the essence of not being wrong, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's unconditional love. That is
Yes.
who it is.
That's that part. And so now when you're functioning in that space of, well, I'm seeing you as this divine, powerful woman. So no matter what you do, it can't be wrong, right? And it's like, oh, that's what that feels like, right?
Yes,
That's what that acceptance feels like. That's what that, and now my intelligence can do what it was designed to do and
absolutely.
now share that energy and say, yeah, you're right, And so now there's this exchange of energy that even my field didn't have the awareness of, or the experience in, but you seeing, right, this 100%,
Yeah,
allowed the space for expansion. And so I
yeah,
think that's powerful.
yeah. And so are you. And so are you, because it is your wholeness, it is your completeness that I see. We go from being complete to complete. We're never incomplete. The only thing that makes us believe we're incomplete is when we're not opening to every aspect of our being: mind, body, soul, energy, spiritually, physically, right? All of that makes up who you are. And when there's
Mhm.
space for that to be present, that is when you're in your authentic power, your true power.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm. And I think it's easy to give that, right? Like I said, I'm a success coach. I see people at 100% all the time,
Mhm.
not knowing that there's that whisper in me of, still maybe holding on to, and it probably showed up differently. Like, where's this 100%, or where's this seeing me? And it's like, no, you have to see that, you have to experience that before you can get that, right? And so it's like, oh, okay, now there's a space for me to see me whole, right?
Yeah.
And not torn, like, okay. And I always had this question to you, like, I don't know if this toxic or not, right?
Mhm.
That was the question. Like, I don't know if this toxic or not, but this is what I was thinking, right? And you
Mhm.
said, why would you think that's toxic, right? But so those are the little, I guess, whispers, right, that come up for us, that was coming up for me, that I could say in a very authentic and transparent way in our exchange, like, okay, well, I don't know if this toxic, but this is what I was thinking, right? And it's just like, well, what? Okay, the powerful woman that you are, right? If that's where you at, then that's where you at. Now let's unpack that, right? And so then it's like dissolves that toxicity, that even questioning that. And we only know what we know until we know something different.
Absolutely. Not about right or wrong, workability, right? Does this work for me based on who I am right here and right now and what I want and what matters to me and what I see for myself and for my life? That's the question. Those are the questions. Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, Sheila. So share with us a couple of your wins as we begin to wrap
Mm.
this testimonial here. Thank you so much. Again, I can't thank you enough. Yeah.
Oh no, thank you for even I don't know, I do know, for having the courage to put together such a very strategic and I don't know, edifying, like, program that you can walk women through, that can really teach them more about who they were created to be, right? So it's introducing, individuals to an aspect of their self that, you otherwise don't even know exists, right? It's like the trap door in your house, like, or the trap door that is in your room that you never knew was there. Now you got this whole other space that you like, wait, I didn't even know this existed, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
That's
And
gold.
trying,
That's where the gold at. All
yeah, on this side, right? It's just, and
yeah.
I think that that's the thing, right? So in my functioning, I feel like I was functioning at my fullest space that I was aware of in that doer place. But I
Mhm.
felt, though, like, it gotta be easier than this. This
Mhm.
can't be like this, right? And so that trap door was like, wait, you got this whole other room and
Mhm.
this whole other place in you
Yeah.
that is dormant and not being used. And I definitely feel like the flow method introduced me to that space. And when I got introduced to that space, what changed for
Mhm.
me? I would say just ease, right? Like, the first thing that come to mind is just this sense of ease, not that things wasn't difficult, not that things wasn't challenging, not that I wasn't being challenged,
Mhm.
but my response to it was like, okay,
Mm.
that's it. Very much accepting. I got this thing, where I said I had these shenanigans, and my shenanigans definitely dwindled. I wasn't trying to convince nobody to do something that they didn't want to do, or really question, like, what I need to do for that. So I think that that was the first thing that happened, click. And when that happened, I got this, I got a very lucrative contract. I
Mhm.
was just like getting my lashes done, right, one day, and the girl was just like, "Hey,
Talk
my,
about ease.
the girl that was doing this work for me, she ended up leaving. She always would probe my mind and ask me questions along the way, and she was like, "Yeah, so you want to do it?" Yeah, let's talk about it. And so, the price that she had for this full time position was definitely like, yeah, okay, well, I can't do that, right? Like, so that being part of me being able to say what I would do and what I would do it for,
Mhm.
was just like, oh, okay, you know. And I know that this was a position that most people would hire for and, definitely desire. So, yeah, but I was just getting my eyelashes done. And that came across. Um, so, and guess what that provided, right? Again, I'm in this space. I'm going from client to client, place to place. Like, and you know how working with people, you have your up months, you have your down months, and all of that. But this
Mhm.
contract truly like solidified this consistent um, place, and it's so aligned with what I do as a business psychologist and
Yeah.
as a therapist, right? Really
Yep.
helping the business part, developing strategies and processes while also doing success coaching with the staff, the leadership, and the girls, right? And so it was just like an integration of me
Mhm.
that now it's this feeling of I'm not really like a morning person, but I'm up in the morning, right? Like
Mhm.
so that's the ease part of it. Now the work is not easy, but the ease of me doing the work, pulling out my computer, creating those systems definitely is powerful. Okay.
Absolutely.
The second thing, or the third, when I said that ease came about, I got asked to be in an exclusive relationship,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And it was an offer.
Yes.
It was literally like hey, I just want you to know that I'm fond of you, and you're somebody that I'll be willing to, I want to be exclusive with, and I think you're an amazing woman, and I was like, oh well, thank you, and yeah, when we got off the phone, and it was just like, well, thank you, I appreciate that, and now you would think, well, Sheila, you are an amazing woman, and why is that so big, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because every other time that I had been asked to be in an exclusive relationship, it was an ultimatum. Either you're gonna be with me or it's over. Either you're gonna marry me or we can't talk no more, right? And so to
Mhm.
have this conversation with this individual who I hadn't talked to, matter of fact, in months, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I think you said
yeah,
9 months. It had been 9 months since
yeah,
you two
yeah.
were
I had
together.
talked to this individual, and so to have this call and to have this offer, like, hey, just want you to know this is where I'm at, this is how I feel about you, and it's definitely like, oh, and matter of fact, I just talked to him last night. We was laughing on the phone, cracking up, and it
Mhm.
just was no tension. Like it was not this push for, did you think about it? What you gonna do? Right? Like it was
Yeah.
definitely just an offer that I just had never been presented with that as an option, just so
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
right? But you're still important enough for me to exchange, right?
For
In
sure.
just our current exchanges. But if you would like, I just
Yeah.
want you to know that I
Mhm.
want to be exclusive with you, right? And
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave it right there for you to pick up. And it just has never been that way before. Like
Mhm.
it's always been, well, if we can't be together, we can't talk no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't be my wife, then what we talking for, right? Like, and so
Mhm.
that was very different. Um, so I think that those are two big things for me. And of course, just the day to day managing life. I'm about to move. Uh, a transition is happening in my life. Even how that transition happened, me saying, okay, who do you need to be, and how we're gonna move forward versus fixing another person's mindset and all of that. So I think there's been, yeah, some very, profound ways in how I'm allowing life to go through me and like really navigating that and how life is coming to me. It's
Absolutely.
definitely different.
Yeah, yeah. Flow and ease, moving away from the forcing or fixing was what I'm hearing, and trying to make things happen, and receiving and
Mhm.
allowing and opening up to the infinite potential that is you, and the infinite possibilities that are available to you, and seeing your power, your ability to do that without having to make things happen. Yeah, yeah. It's powerful.
Absolutely.
It's powerful. Well, Sheila, if someone was thinking about joining Flow, if they were on the fence trying to decide, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would just say go on and invest in yourself, like, um, yeah, because once you experience something, right, you can never unexperience it. So the information that you're providing is something that these individuals can take with them for the rest of their lives, and whether they're ready to apply it now, it definitely is going to transform the way they see themselves and the way they experience their world. So, I would definitely encourage anybody to understand this, divine feminine principle or this place within you. Um, and, if you're feeling nervous, kind of like I did, because I was like, okay, just move forward, just push, because it is a part of who you are, right? It's like that trap door. It's like that, the door, like it's always been there. Now you can build a relationship with it, that ultimately is going to, if nothing else, help you to learn more about who you are, right? And what you're able to do, in a very safe place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for
So,
your time. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you? Yeah.
yeah, so as a success coach, you can find me at I Am Shaping Solutions,
Mhm.
right? At all, Instagram, on Instagram, on Facebook, Shaping Solutions on YouTube. I got the book coming out. Oh, that's the other thing. I wrote the book.
You wrote the book.
Yeah, I wrote the book. Definitely was emotional, and then edited the book. I think what was that? I edited the book after we wrote it. I edited from this place of, you know, being, right? Like, I think that when I first wrote the book, I definitely wrote it and I shared a lot. And I talked to you about this, like how I was sharing and why I was sharing in some
Yeah,
way to support. Like, so what do I need to do to convince people that,
right. Perspective
and
shift.
yeah, and so it was definitely was a perspective shift. So when I went back and edited it, kind of like I shared the stories in a way, that was more focused on, hey, I did this and you can do this too. But it was definitely from this place of being and not like, what do I need to do? And what
Yeah.
do I need to say to like get these people? So there was definitely a sense of me stepping back from that. And I'm still editing it out, but I wrote it like I got complete with it. So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah, so I have the book, and my biggest gift to people is, that affirmation challenge. I do a 30-day free affirmation challenge where you get an affirmation in your email every day. I feel like language is one of the most powerful things we have.
Yes.
And so a lot of times we're stuck because we just don't have the language to
Mm,
be able to um, really see ourselves or know ourselves in a way. So yeah, so you can go to SheilaLittle.com. That's SHIELA, SheilaLittle.com, and download that 30-day free affirmation to change your language, start changing your language, start changing how you see yourself, and then you can tap that in with the flow method,
absolutely.
and introduce yourself to that being,
Mm,
that being part of you. I just think it's essential, Coach
yeah,
Lou.
absolutely. It's that it's our essence. It's the
Yeah,
essence, the truth of who
yeah,
we really are.
yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you
yeah,
so much, Sheila. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being an ideal woman to work with. Your passion, your commitment to the people that you serve, and really to you, to your life,
yeah,
your expansion, your evolution, your elevation. You are exactly who I had in mind when I created this program. And I told you that you are who I had in mind because you and I resonate on so many levels, past experiences, the work that we do, right? And so thank you for just affirming the
yeah,
place, the space, and the need for a program such as Flow. Thank you for your time. And, we're going to connect soon. So,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right.
Well, thank you, Coach Lou. Like I said, thank you for doing this for melanated women like myself. I know there may be other women that benefit from you, but I just really think that this limited place in us as melanated women to really tap into what is your divine feminine and defining that for who we are. I think it's just powerful because we can think it's something totally different than what it is, and so introducing it in the concept the way that you introduce it, I think, is definitely empowering. So I just say thank you, and thank you for holding the space for me for those 12 weeks, and enough that I could expand and grow to see that aspect of me the way you saw that aspect of me, right? And in that transition, I think my life truly has changed.
Absolutely. My absolute pleasure. It's been my
Mhm.
pleasure.
Yeah.